Ladies and gentlemen, Triple H is kind of shocking me because, he, at the beginning of his run, said Vince McMahon, or the one who cannot be named, to be more appropriate, said he likes, I don't know, chocolate, but I enjoy vanilla. And I was expecting some different stuff from Triple H, but it really doesn't seem that different from the era of Vince McMahon, because today we're going to talk about one of the biggest problems that WWE has, and it's getting worse and worse, especially in the last month, as we have two new titles in the building. Doesn't have anything, by the way, before those comments start, with those being women's titles. It's just the fact that there are new championships being introduced into the WWE that makes me feel uneasy, and I'll get to the reasons why. But before we get to the title discussion, I just want to give more examples. Besides the titles being way too many, more than AEW, if I'm standing correct right now, and AEW, like, that's one of the biggest problems with AEW that everybody's been talking about since the inception of freaking time. All right. The other problem with the WWE, for example, pertaining to Triple H, he said, "Oh yeah, I don't like Hell in a Cell, TLC. I don't want WWE pay-per-view names named after freaking just match types." And then he goes ahead and does Survivor Series War Games, which has been underwhelming. That's a whole nother problem. And I will have my predictions video on that. So I'll talk about War Games specifically and the problem with that on that video. But yeah, like, you would think the way Triple H talks, the way he likes his wrestling, you would think that these type of stuff would not happen, because I mean, like, I would understand if a couple of other, like, low quality moments and just like weird decisions happen, because Triple H cannot literally control everything. Other people like The Rock or Nick Khan, they have their hand in the pie as well. Pause. I don't know if that's a pause moment, but doesn't matter. We pause anyway in this building. Here's the thing. Triple H, I think, is kind of going crazy. But I'll start this conversation off about the titles with this simple saying: not everybody can be a winner, or should be a winner, since we're talking about professional wrestling, which has a more scripted nature. Look at this. This is all the champions right now without the two new women's championships added into the frame. Also, I lied to you. Here are the NXT champions. There's just so many freaking championships that I wanted to count them at first. Should I do it? NXT Heritage Cup. It is basically a title that doesn't look like a title. We'll count it. That's one. Let's count the tag team titles as one as well. And that's three. That's four. We got Roxanne Perez with the fifth. Six championships only in NXT. And just, multiply that by 3. You get 18 freaking championships. Actually, do the speed championships count? I don't know. So you might have 18 to 12, not 12, 20 championships in the WWE, which is insane to me. If everybody's a winner, nobody's a winner. Because everybody cannot win. Because for there is to be a winner, there has to be a loser. And I think the WWE kind of forgot that. Again, Cody Rhodes is your main champion. He's very, I think, purist when it comes to wrestling. Very much in love with the fundamentals, likes to take it slow, sell stuff, like old school wrestling, the way it's supposed to be, in my humble opinion. Gunther as well, but I think Cody has more influence on the company. That's how I'm thinking. As the face of the company right now, there's nobody else. As the main champion, right, he has to have that influence. And I guess everybody, including Cody and Triple H, and then everybody in the production of the WWE, they're kind of interested in the big picture, and they're not looking at smaller details. But for the big moments to hit, you need those small details to be nailed perfectly. You need that build up, because last year's WrestleMania was an amazing moment where no one's going to take anything away from that. But how many times are you going to get a lucky break? Undertaker is very old right now. He's basically retired, and maybe he'll come back for one more match, but then you're going to have to build new stars, which they've been doing. Damian Priest is there. He's kind of up there in terms of age as well, but still he'll do pretty good for the company, I feel like, for the next couple of years. I think maybe the other thesis or the prediction that I can come up with is like, yeah, we'll just give him titles. Right? We'll just give him the titles because it's easier to go ahead and say, oh, he is or she is this champion and such is this champion. So, we don't have to do the hard work. Just look at this, they're champions, all right? Take them seriously, they're cool. I guess that's another reason. There's also the fact that we're gonna have Netflix shows now, and I still don't know the ad situation too much. We might still get 2 hours and like 10 minutes of a show, or maybe closer to actual 3 hours now with it being on Netflix. We'll see how the ad situation plays out exactly when Raw is emitted from Netflix for the first time ever. So maybe, yeah, we'll have actual longer shows. So getting these titles again is another out for the writers in the WWE to not really think about interesting storylines. Just like, oh yeah, this is for the title, you should care about it, which I think happens in NXT. I don't follow it religiously as I used to, before, during the golden days, the black and gold days to be more specific. But it really just, when I look at NXT every once in a while, when I watch the pay-per-views, it's just like title after title, and most of the feuds just feel pointless, but the title is just like there as a rubber band to fix things over, and it just oversaturates everything. We can go to AEW, man, the Ring of Honor titles. Whenever I see them, I'm just like, oh my god, it's the same exact thing as having the Speed Championships, the freaking 24/7 championship when that existed, and overstated welcome in my humble opinion. Triple H even threw it to the trash, and then you introduce the Speed Championship. So like, again, in the beginning of the video, I go back to that rant. Like, Triple H obviously thinks one way about the wrestling business, but he's making these decisions that just really baffles me, When we go back to the WWE Championships, though, it's a tag team championship. Who among you remember that freaking Finn Balor and JD McDonough? If I was not looking at the screen, I wouldn't be remembering. They're the Raw Tag Team Champions. When is the last time we've seen the Raw Tag Team Championships? Actually in a legit important storyline where they were like the focal point, or, they mattered in the slightest. I mean, the Motor City Machine Guns, awesome tag team. Glad that they're in the WWE, but they won the tag team titles, all right? And then they're pushed to the side, so the tag team titles really don't matter that much either. When you talk about the women's tag team, titles, they're just a means to an end, I guess. They're literally there so Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill can be like a tag team right now. Like, they serve no other purpose and have no exciting prospects besides that, because one way they could have an exciting prospect is that we can have like legit, just exciting tag teams, women's tag teams, potentially in the future about to go face to face for these titles, but that's not the case either. I mean, I would argue it's also pretty much the same in the men's corner as well. Yeah. I mean, before Triple H took over, if someone argued, like, let's just get rid of the United States and Intercontinental Championships, which these two titles have way more of a lineage, right, behind them, I wouldn't be able to, like, completely say, yeah, no, we gotta let them stay, because, like, those titles were absolutely pointless as well. Now they're cooler because you're putting on actual storylines on them. So that's really the only point, and the last point I want to make. These titles, the fact that they're too much is, I think, bad overall. The less they are, the better, in my opinion. Quality over quantity every single day of the freaking year. But let's say we have to keep these titles. If you write quality storylines for the freaking Women's Tag Team Championship, the Raw Tag Team, Men's Tag Team Championships, the Speed Championship, like, we'll watch that. That's cool. But who among you right now watching this video believe that we're going to get those quality storylines? It's, like I said, an out for the writers, out for the WWE whenever they don't have anything interesting. For whatever reason, they'll say that, oh yeah, just for this title. All right, think nothing else. Just consume. And that's scary. And what else is scarier is that we only have one Women's Tag Team Champions on the main roster, while we have two brands, and we have two new mid-card Women's Championships. So why not another Women's Tag Team title? Which, you know what? I kind of want to see it, just because I want to see how they're going to handle that title. Like, what kind of monstrosity of a run that title is going to have. I would actually kind of want to see that. But yeah, both WWE and AEW, man, you got to cut back on those titles. Just quality over quantity. Please, I'm begging you. What's going on, man? What's going on?